Good morning, good morning, good morning. Rise and shine. Today is going to be a good day. Today is going to be a great day. Today is going to be a blessed day because this is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. Today, I want to talk about love and prayer. But by the way, first, I would like to say that when I woke up this morning, I asked God, I said, God, what is my assignment for today? I said, what would you like for me to do today? What am I doing today, Father God, to honor your will? And even if I just reach one person, even if just one person watch my video, I just want to do God's will. So I sat up here and I prayed, and this is what came to my heart. So I would like to talk about, love and praying. Jesus taught to love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. You can find this in Luke chapter 6, verses 27 to 28, and also in Matthew 5, 44 through verse 48. It's so easy. It's so easy to love those who love you. It's so easy to love your parents. It's so easy to love your spouse. It's so easy to love your siblings. It's so easy to love your friends. And it's so easy to love your kids. It's just so easy to love those who love you because they love you. Like Jesus says, what great reward are you reaping for just loving those who love you? That's easy. God teaches us to love your enemies. When Jesus was here on earth, the only perfect human being that ever walked earth, but he loved his enemies. The ones who persecuted him, the ones who nailed him to the stake, the ones who did him so wrong, the ones who wanted him dead, and the ones who killed him before he died. The work was done. That's what he said. And he said, Father God, please forgive them, for they don't know what they do. So Jesus prayed for his enemies. He know that they hated him, but he said, Father God, please forgive them, for they not know what they do. So he teaches you to love your enemies. Pray for your enemies. It not necessarily, now he don't teach us to be a fool or to be crazy or to not be careful and to not be safe either. That's not what he's saying. When people get up in the morning, and sometimes people might call me and ask me, Chanel, what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? It's so easy to give advice as a friend or a loving person, right? So, but what I tell them, I say, look, I said, I had to pray to God this morning. I had to pray for God to take this burden from me. I had to pray for God to help me. So if I can't even take my own burden today, what makes you think that I can take yours? I'm like, you need to call on God, because you should always put God first. God is the one to call first. If you can't do something, if it's too much for you, if it's too much pain, it's nothing Chanel can do. So don't call me first. You need to call God. And that's the best advice I could give. When I get these phone calls, it might seem like, I might know the answer to this and know the answer to that. I don't know the answer to nothing without asking God. I don't know the answer to this without praying to God for discernment. I don't know, because I have to go to God first in everything that I do. But as I was saying, loving your enemies, because one day somebody might need you, whether they like you or not. Your job as one of Christ's followers is to win them and to get them closer to God. You want to get them closer to God. And if you're being a rude and nasty person, even if this person said this about you, even if this person wants you to see you down or is praying for your downfall, then you're still supposed to reach out as a follower of Christ and still lift them up to God. You're not showing that you're being a Christian if you're being just as hateful to them as they have been mean and nasty and hateful to you. So you want to be different. And that's what Christ means. That's what God means when he says, love your enemies. You love your enemies as you love yourself. You wake up in the morning, you pray, you ask God, what should you do? It should be the same with your enemy. You should be praying to God and asking, God, I know that this person don't like me. I'm only human. But God, I pray that you come into their life, that you come into their heart, because as being a follower of Christ, then we want to, let people see how we're doing, how our heart is, and that will lead them to Christ. Just by being an example of one of Christ's followers, then that will help them come to God, because they would be like, yeah, this girl, it's something about her, or this man is just something about him. And what is he doing? what is he doing? So that way, they might smile at you one day. They might wave at you one day and come and ask you, what are you doing? Where do you get this confidence from? Where do you get this glow from? Where do you get this smile from? And how are you so, good at what you do? And what I mean by good at what you do, you might not even be good at what you do, but it's just a light of Christ that shines on you when you are doing the right thing, when you are trying to be a follower of Christ, when you are a follower of Christ. Another thing I want to talk about is being wary of negative influence. You are cautioned to avoid constant association with those who are angry or argumentative to prevent being negatively influenced by them. And you can find it in Proverbs 22, verses 24 through 25. And it also says, don't conform to negativity. And that's in Romans 12, verses 2. Sorry, guys. They also talking about encouraging transformation through renewing your mind rather than a forming of this world. That's pretty much self-explanatory. All those negative people, negative thoughts, and that stuff will rub off on you. It would definitely rub off on you. Like, for example, someone might call me and they might be talking bad about, let's just say, Keisha. They talking bad about Keisha this, Keisha that, Keisha this. And then all of a sudden I'm on the phone and I'm thinking about what Keisha did to me 2 years ago. So I'm like, oh yeah, I don't like Keisha either. But I'm blocking my blessings. That happened 2 years ago. So I'm sitting up here and, letting the devil betray me and my mind, listening to this person I'm on the phone with who's always so negative. But so now I try to stay away from the negativity because I'm sitting up here thinking about something from 2 years ago, but I'm missing God's assignment. Maybe I'm supposed to go say something to Keisha, who hurt me a few years ago. Maybe I could say something to her and she'll be like, yeah, this girl is different. What are you doing different? And maybe we can have a conversation about God. Everybody's changed. That also comes into, like we was talking about yesterday, forgiving. Everybody changed. Who has not sinned, cast the first stone, is what Jesus has stated. So he who has not sinned, cast the first stone. There is nobody that could talk about anybody. There is nobody that is better than anybody. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how much money you don't have. If you don't have Jesus, you don't have nothing. None of that matters. You can't take it with you when you die. You can't take that new 2026 car with you when you go. You can't take that 8-bedroom house with you when you go. If you don't have God, you don't have nobody. And then dealing with the negativity, it just weighs your spirit down. So why would you even want that for yourself? So I decided that I wanted to pray to God and I wanted a new way of thinking, so I can't deal with the negativity. I just can't. It weighs heavy. It gets stuck in your spirit. I want to be a more positive person. Ask God to help you be a more positive person. Ask God to surround you with more positive people. It really makes a world of difference. Even if you're not having a good day, if you just go to one person and say, hey, how you doing today? You don't have to know that person. If you walk past somebody and you just smile, you know how they say that smiling and laughing is contagious? It truly is. Laughing and smiling is very contagious. You never know what somebody is going through. You could have been that last person that they came in contact with. You could have been the reason why they decided not to end their life. You know what I'm saying? You could have been the reason why they smile today. You could have been the reason why, they decided to do something different. The reason why they woke up in the morning and they're just like, yeah, I forgot the girl name. I forgot his name. But when I walked past him yesterday, it was something different about him. It was like a light that was on him. I don't know what was different, but I just hope that I come across this person again. And you might give them a different way of life. You might give them a different direction of life with God's help. You just want to always try to be a blessing to someone. Don't be mean. It's so many people commit suicide because they don't have anyone. They think they don't have no one, which is another trick of the devil. But just try to be nice to someone. It don't cost nothing to say hello. And my mom still tell me till this day, today, I was on the phone with her. It don't cost nothing to be nice. It don't cost nothing to smile, and it don't cost nothing to just simply say hello.